our costumes.
Somebody put her here. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, I'm going to start today with my, I usually start with something motivational or something to get you to do the next week. And we don't have this in the notes. It's a little bit hard to read, but it's funny because I was going through some stuff through my Olympic coaching school. And one of the things that we discussed, or one of the things that I had is like hundreds of pages on what I was doing daily and my intention for the day. And I came across this and I thought, I'd love to share this with you. So it's a daily practice. I know we have a lot of tasks, a lot of things that we do. One of the things that I do in the morning is what I'm thinking about and what my intention is, how I would like to be today. And I know that helps me to focus on what I'm trying to do. Oftentimes we have other things that are coming at us all at once, and you're like, what am I doing? Okay? So this is just a little sheet that I'd like to share with you. Just on your morning mindset, and then your evening journal. So did I get it done? Was I in that space? And it really takes like 2 or 3 minutes, but it really helps me, and I know my athletes really help me. So like for the morning mindset, one thing I can get excited about today is what? I don't know what it is, but whatever your one thing is. Or 2, a positive phrase or sentence I can say to myself several times today. What am I going to say? You know, write it down. I am worried. I'm going to go out and, you know, teach it as many people as I possibly can today with this positive mindset. Whatever that one thing is. What is that one thing you're telling me about? Someone who needs me on my A game today. Who is that? No, who needs me on my A game today? A situation that might stress me out or trip me up today could be, you know, prepare for it. Oh boy, I'm going to go through that person. This could trip me up, but I'm ready for it, right? So you're not kind of caught off guard. Someone I could surprise with a note, a gift. That means so much, doesn't it? And something can feel so, oh God, it's just so low, it's just so hard, and it's so much to me, right? What action I could take today to demonstrate excellence, a real value? One bold action I could take today. One bold action. What would that be? I'm going to step into something you can do. Ready? If I was my own high performance coach, I would tell myself this today. What would you tell yourself, right? It's really deep to thought, right? How would I do this? I would complete this day proud of my efforts if I make sure I or go past that person that I've been avoiding. How can I make myself feel better about myself today? And the big picture I have to keep in mind today is that I'm working steadily towards, you know, small steps. So what in the big picture, what can we do? And this really doesn't take much time, right? It just takes time and say, okay, I got my intention, I got in my mind, I got the thinking, here I go. Right? And it's just a reminder. It's kind of fun. And then at night, you're just gonna, you know, journal that. Did all these things happen? And how did I do? And maybe what can I change? Or maybe there's something that you saw now and did that and not really made a difference. So just learning a little bit more about yourself and giving yourself a little more focus and having an appreciation every day. So I thought I'd share that with you today, and on we go. Ready, Ashley? Yeah. Okay. Troubleshoot. We'll take it. I thought it was about the place, but I couldn't see it from over there. Huddle when she turns towards the group. Okay. So maybe we'll try a little slant action. I muddle?
You're muddle when you're up here. It sounds like.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
We'll do some redirect of Ashley's table next week.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting us know so we can have good video thing.
Yes, absolutely.
And spotlight my face.
All
Okay.
right, here we go.
Like it's too big. All right, we have numero uno, Sydney. Kara Malloy, little under. Jeff, 10,226,000.
If you're on the call.
Anna Marie, who's on Zoom, 6. And then, me.
Good deal.
And our team's Agent 509, Jeff and his team up 16,500,000.
Nice.
Team Malloy, 15,330,000. Frontline team, little over 9 million. Team Dolby, 6 million, little under 6,600,000. And then Team Dolby in the room, or Dolman. Oh my. Forgive me. I was tired this morning. A little over 4 million. So. New listings, we had, thanks for laughing at my mustache guy. Jeff Holman and Debbie Senseney went pending the same exact day. Pretty weeks, that's rare these days. Yeah.
That's very
That was
nice.
a pretty sweet price for that house. So, yeah. Closings, quite a few me, 2 for Anna Marie, 1 for Sydney and Estella and Kara.
Yeah.
Third time with the charm. From that guy, yeah. We got our stat guys, so more sold than the last week. Same amount canceled, which I feel like that happens all the time, kind of weird. Let me see. Good amount back on market. Buyers are picky. That's kind of what I've noticed. Everybody's
Noticing a lot of buyers' husbands are hunting and.
Everybody's hunting.
This house that I have listed, they're like, well, they can't make a decision because their husband's out hunting. Gosh, look at the hunting calendar.
I
I actually know multiple people.
Yeah. Oh, hunting.
I just want to point out, if you look at pendings and sold compared to what's new listing. So our new listings are dropping and which means the market's gonna tighten up again. Yeah, just
Feeling
Great.
tight for sure.
So let's go out and get some new listings.
For sure. I just put my dog on everything now. I've decided my photos actually paid for. Yeah, no, the dog's on everything. It's my own decision. The dog. I will get you one with the dog. Me and Ellis up there, a little real estate. That's, yeah, team Ellis, the dog. Family reunion, pretty sweet. We have a little video after this and they announced their keynote speaker and she is
Exciting.
amazing. So excited.
Get your tickets before they go up. Or if you
Yeah.
need help, let me know.
Have we confirmed how much they go up?
They have not, I kind of.
I tried to find it.
A couple months ago that it was gonna
Yeah,
go to
well,
14.99, but I have not heard for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's usually what it is.
Right?
Just about doubles.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big jump.
Yeah. Well, you still have some time.
Another week. Let's hear it.
don't know who Mel Robbins is.
You should just watch all of her videos today.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, I can accomplish the world.
Yes.
Yeah, she very
Very-
much does that. And
very
her, yeah, Instagram is great. And yeah, I mean, read a little bit about it there. Yeah, they always pick such great speakers. So I'm very excited for her. I think she has a few like TED Talks, and then there's a ton of videos that she's put on YouTube and yeah.
Yeah.
So excited. If you haven't gotten your tickets, reach out to, if you have questions, me, Lois, anybody in the office, Kelly, all the peoples. So get a good group. I will be
Let us know
there.
if you're interested.
Who's going? Well,
I wanna go.
Okay.
Who
Well,
wants to-
talk, right?
who wants to go and has, okay, I've got some hands up. Anybody on Zoom going? I know Anna Marie's going. Is there anybody else that would like to go? Where's my little screen? That has not got tickets yet. Not Monica,
Monica, okay, good.
Kathy, Courtney, Dale, anybody want to? No? Okay. You're gonna stay here and get all the listings, so that's fine. That works out. Sweet. All right.
So we're gonna get all the contacts for new listings, new buyers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Get all the referral partners, bring them back. Book club, Mondays, 9:30 a.m., different Zoom link. So we can get you the link. I know that, and you kind of talked a little bit of kind of what the book is about in a way of each, morning doing those, meditation and affirmations and like little bits of,
So this book has a 30-day challenge in it, and we're just getting into those chapters right now, and a lot of it has to do with the morning routine. Like what Lois just talked about, and it's a quick read. We're gonna be done in a couple weeks. And so I think we'll do Think and Grow Rich for the next book, which is same thing. It's kind of a mindset book, and I'm not sure when we'll start that, but maybe the first of the year. We're gonna take a break in December.
all holiday things.
Thank you. Yeah.
I followed the Miracle Morning for I think about 3 weeks. Didn't do too bad, but it's crazy after that first like week and a half, 2 weeks, and it's like, did I just meditate for like 20 minutes? And like it's crazy, and I definitely felt great during it.
It
So
changes you.
yeah, no,
Changes
very
your mindset and your focus.
very much does for sure.
Yeah.
Business planning.
Tomorrow.
Yes. Who is signed up? Who procrastinated and is going to sign up in a half an hour? That's
Yeah, anybody who's on the list that has signed up and hasn't registered, please register. Because we have a sponsor that's coming. I think I've reached out to everybody who is on the list. With the materials that are gonna be needed for the class tomorrow. If you don't have them, let me know. We're gonna have Randy Haywood from Professional Home Inspections in. He's gonna be talking to us for about 15 minutes. And then we're gonna get started with the clinic. So Rebecca will be on right after that.
And you're getting really cool lunch, so make sure you're.
The food lunch is really cool, and Randy sponsored it, so it should be a lot of fun. Be here by 9:30 tomorrow. 9:30. Thank you.
and so Ignite and Tech training is canceled tomorrow because this is 10 to 2. So membership meeting, so that would be Thursday for voting and complimentary lunch, and just sign up online. We'll make sure to put the link in the sales rally notes, and go there to support Sydney. And
Quorum to get anything done, like voting members, so. Yeah, so free,
I'm signed up.
free meeting and free lunch, so it's free to go.
And I just got that email like 15 minutes ago, so you guys could have it in your box if you haven't already gotten it.
Yeah. Want to go and support? It's gonna be a great event.
Halloween costume, sales rally costume party next week. And
Wait, Miss Basket.
yeah, and I love,
You two could be millionaires.
yeah,
That's right.
no, for real. Oh, these are fun ones. Oh, I've never played these ones. I love scratch tickets. I really do. And Brooke won it last year. And were you saying she had it as like a little like if she had an accomplishment, she would like treat herself. I would do them all in like 5 minutes, but that's just the human that I am.
I'm dressed.
Yes, in Zoom too.
Please come dressed. Like in a costume.
Naked is never out.
Not at all. Yes, and then the real estate class, Friday, 9 to noon with, well, I think it was the same day. We'll get info on that from you, Kathy, if that's the new law of real estate agency one, or if that's the one with the DJ Hen guy that's going over a core class.
We're
So,
talking about a different one, but it was in the email, Northwest MLS sent it out today.
okay.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that emails, those emails, let us know. Cause yeah, I mean, I get a ton of emails throughout the week of different trainings and events that are going on, all beneficial stuff. So I'll make sure to highlight that, in the notes. So thanks so much.
So one of the things we're trying to do is get a little bit more exposure in the community, KW, get us out there, get us to events, get involved. So this is one of those realtor fun nights, that's Rentos, right?
Yes, and we'll have the link to sign up. I believe, what did we just say? It was $60 to sign up?
Yeah, do you want to talk about a potential?
Yeah, so, a few years ago in 21, we went, me and Amanda and like a bunch of others, Sarah and Steph, I don't remember if you were on that one, but, we had so many people that we got to get a limo and go together. Did you post on?
I didn't, yeah, I got that, but yeah, I wasn't able to on this one.
We just got lit in a limo and had. And so, if you got enough people, we'll do a limo again, you guys, so I know.
Kathy's up for limo, so.
I love it.
Just for a realtor fun night, then Kathy, me and Amanda and you and Ashley and.
You have a link to that?
Sarah will be going.
Yes,
Yep.
we'll have a link for it and, yeah.
And Lois is going, so we're.
And Marcia's going and Jose's going, all the.
From here, I guess we pick you up at Frontline and then go.
Yeah, or we'll meet there.
Little
Anyway,
ghost
I think if we
limo.
can get probably 10 people, it's probably enough to do a limo.
Atiba can drive our team.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So you can drive us.
We can pick you up.
I think Willie can drive me.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I can speak a little to this one.
Yeah. On there.
So we, Sarah Lomena is, looking at trying to get a sponsor for these tickets to the Miami Miami. Yeah. Wenatchee Wild. That's where I went to school, Miami. That's what I think of it. So Saturday, November 4th, and she's looking for a sponsorship for those tickets so that we could all go and sponsor and help the veterans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of a community event as well. We kind of get out there a little bit and have some fun, but also be seen.
And if you're interested in going, I'd say just reach out to Sarah and stay, you know, so that way we can get seats all together and yeah. Sweet. Should be fun.
Awesome.
Gift exchange and our little holiday party. I think we decided maybe not a potluck.
Yeah, Lois
Yeah,
had
I think-
somebody who was gonna host,
Yeah.
host it. Yeah.
So we'll have more details as we get closer to it. And yeah, and then just use that money you were gonna do to make things for the potluck and just put it towards the little white elephant gift.
Perfect.
So December
And get
2nd.
together for our team, for everybody.
And that is after the Santa photos. So if anybody wants to help, we made up a flyer that we're gonna just get more exposure out in town. So if you know anywhere that we could put up flyers or anywhere in town, let us know, and then we can make sure to kind of get it out there.
For photos and everything for kids, right?
Will there just be a stack of them here at the office that we can pick up?
Yes, so, yeah,
A stack of them.
well.
Do you have that photo on there? Do you have the flyer on there?
Not yet, because I
Okay.
sent out this morning some people, yeah, I think we're good to go on it though.
Yeah.
So I can also attach that to the sales rally notes and just have a copy on there.
Awesome.
On the Form 36, the default language states that the counteroffer shall expire at 9 PM one day after delivery. True or false? Yes, nice job. False. 2 days after delivery, unless, yeah, withdrawn beforehand, or if you write anything else in the little blank spot at the bottom. Good job.
Marcia, anything to add to that?
I just want to say for Team Dahlman,
Mary,
Marion submitted his first listing and it was perfect. Every
He's meticulous.
Have to be, right?
Good step there.
That's right.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Yes, absolutely.
I will be having a discussion later this afternoon, but there was a in-house deal. And so there was a form that I approved on one side and didn't approve on the other. And so I wanted to let everybody know that maybe you don't know this, but I am human and I do make mistakes. And so we'll be talking about that. And one of the things that is really important is like, when we talk about things like the 22K, that's a state law. That's not by any of our attorneys. And we have to have the utilities identified and their street address. Anything else is all a bonus. And I'm really sorry, it's a pain in the ass, but you know what? That's what we are. Russ has set the standard. And so we're getting ready really for the changes in January. And so if I do make a mistake or if there's a reason, I love it. There are many of you are sending me either emails, texts, or they do a note in compliance saying, and just remind me, this was an estate sale. That's great. Or better yet, where it says Form 17, I look at it and it said an estate sale, not necessary, and it's approved. So it makes it so much nicer, but just realize that I look at these every single day. And I am going to make a mistake. And in advance, I apologize, but get over it.
Don't Nancy Grams, don't argue with Marcia. She's there to help us, to help you, to protect everybody around. So please don't be nasty to her.
Okay, that's a good point. And then a great point is Marcia does hundreds of these every day for us to protect us. So Marcia, a huge thank you on behalf of our whole team.
And whoever is iPad 5 also says Marcia is incredible. Oh, it's Monica.
Marcia.
Thank you, iPad 5.
Monica.
So I got this in the mail and I thought it was cool and ran it. If you live in Chelan County, Douglas County doesn't really get anything. So sorry, Douglas County. So they give a ton of rebates if you do any updates to your home. And I thought this is good information if you have past clients, you know, that bought a home, to reach out to them, let them know what's possible. And, you know, it kind of just reminds them that you're there and to help. And it's just, you know, a good excuse to do that. And we did the rebate for the smart thermostat. And it wasn't more than $150. So it's pretty much free. You just wait a little bit of time, but yeah, you can get one of those little circle smart ones. So yeah, it's kind of good info to pass on to your peoples. Give it
Your
value.
arsenal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So good stuff.
Great.
Michael did text that he had an unexpected meeting, so we do not have a Michael or a Sharon today.
Anybody want to add anything on the financial side
Any
that you've seen that we're having tough times with? Anything in contracts on the financial side?
Appraisers are tightening up.
Appraisers are tightening up. Meaning like the value of the home is.
Yeah, and just more call outs and that kind of stuff. Yeah, they're just getting a little more meticulous.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, had a discussion yesterday, whether do I extend feasibility or the financing addendum, and it was a worry over appraisal. And so
Okay.
either one of those can be extended, but feasibility covers everything, and that's a good one if you can get that extended to cover that.
That's good. That's good input.
And if
Thank you.
anybody isn't sure what appraisers could call out depending on the loan type, yeah, definitely let us know, because that's a big thing, even previewing houses for listings or explaining to buyers. And just, because you don't want to show somebody a house and have them get all excited and then find out they, have an FHA loan, there's chip and paint all over the place and everything's a mess. And then, so knowing that ahead of time is great.
And I'm hopeful to have an appraiser on one of these days, just to discuss any of your questions.
I have some good names that I got from Russ before. There's one lady that's been super helpful if I have random questions, and Kim Dobish.
And one last thing that I thought was really interesting, the delay for this feasibility financing part was because they had such a fast turnaround. A lot of the appraisers were passing over that job because it closed like in 12 days or some, it got really close to it. And so
They didn't get out there in time, or
well, they didn't want the pressure of
of having to have it done.
that appraisal back and in. And so they extended both feasibility and closing date to allow the appraiser still time.
Has anybody dealt with an appraiser? I just dealt with one recently where a gentleman from Seattle came out, did all the pictures, took all the measurements of the house, but then sent all his information to someone who did another person who did the CMA and the appraisal based on, the CMA, and had it done in 3 days. This is the new system they're using, where they just come out and do the photos and all the measurements, and then that sends to someone else and they have it done in 3 days. This is apparently the new system.
I had that with
that then?
Ally Bank, got mine back super quick. Yeah, they sent
Yeah.
somebody out
Yeah.
and then it was,
Yeah.
which I'd never heard of that bank. They actually did a really good job.
Yeah, like this was Better Mortgage.
Oh, this episode, yeah, it's Ally powered by Better.
Mortgage.
Yeah, they were
So-
actually fantastic.
So you've had that experience. I was
Yeah, it was super quick, and they actually, like, my people got approved and they reached out to me of like, hey, do you have any questions? Do you need anything? I'm like, and then like 3 days later, another person, like, this is what's, like, they gave updates.
quick, right?
Yeah, it was actually very, very well done,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
I'm
So
working with them as well.
Michael's still my favorite, but Ally, Better, yeah, it's not bad. Anybody on Zoom had any interesting things with appraisers or anything of that sort? Nope, chilling. Hi, Jeff.
Who's on? Jeff?
Jeff's on. I
Jeff
haven't
Hallman?
seen you. Hello, friend.
Jeff.
Oh, we got Skip too. Skip chilling in the back.
Oh, good.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay. Our November calendar, which we're getting at the process of getting our kind of digital calendar up, and so you guys have a designated place to go see everything that's going on. But this is our schedule for November so far. And again, this will be out in the notes. And we'll with contracts class, we have let me skip over that guy.
Yeah.
So we have the whole schedule of November of what Marcia's going to talk about, and of course things come up each week, so she's going to touch on those topics. So you'll see that after this, and we'll just work on a nice calendar you can go to. And
We're working on a new website, so that updated new website that everyone can go to, and a back kind of portal for all of our agents. And I'll have more information on that in our next meeting. So very easy, but inclusive website that talks about what we do, who we are, who the management team is, all of that. So we're working on that as well.
all in one spot.
All in one spot, and then you're gonna be able to go in and hit a calendar and have all the information everything we're doing for November, December, and then next year. So I'm trying to get a calendar ready for next year as well.
And today Marcia's going over, new forms effective January, purchase and sale agreements, and then those random examples from all the millions of contracts that she looks at during the week, so. And here's your schedule through November, so if there's any forms, again, that you're really interested in, have questions on, those are your go-to classes.
November 14th, Russ will be with me and we'll be helping you develop out your value proposition.
Yeah, big.
That'll be a big one, and they're all big ones.
For those of you that are experienced, please come, because your value and what has worked for you is really good information for all the rest of us. So please come prepared to think about, when I do a listing presentation, what services am I providing? If I am working for the buyer, what services am I going to? And that was one of the things in Annie's training that she had, like, she went over in about 39 seconds, but she had like 12 slides. And so we want to go through that and pick out so that you can have your own, what is your value? Why are you valuable?
Best way to learn from other people, or else you really learn nothing in real estate, so.
Great
Thanks, Marcia.
ideas, sharing all the time, right?
Broker's tour. Want somebody to do that dance one of these days. Yeah, oh, I love that. I am down.
do a boomerang.
Yeah, boomerang, they bring that back. I haven't done boomerang in years.
Okay, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 2 claps, KW, that's it, right? 1, 2, 3. KW. And yeah, that was really good. That was one of our best. So we're on to the contract class.
Yes,
Unless
so
anyone
give
has
us
any
a sec,
questions.
we're gonna do a seamless transition. So we'll just switch right to Marcia, and we did 33 minutes, so we're getting
33,
kind
we're
of
getting
close.
there. I promise 30, it will be.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ashley.
Thank you. All right, so in a momento, we're gonna make Marcia the host, and then she'll get into her contracty things. Yes, that is beautiful.
I'm getting farther along every time. There's the.
We are improving every day. Which there is a YouTube page called Better Every Day. Okay, what did you say it was? Great.
Okay, great, and wait, KWNCW was out. KWNCW, 17X. Wow. The only thing capitalized was the K. Because. So you.
Yeah.
Your dog is evil?
No, not my dog. Animals, not my dog. My mother-in-law's dog.
Did you acquire? Or you just paid?
Oh, hell no, I gave her a haircut.
So Marcia should be the host, so let's see if hypothetically I get out of here.
Yeah, it's not gonna work the same.
So. USB port, 'cause sometimes it gets mad.
Just because they're slow. Yeah, I'm going to lie.
There's another one too on the other side where it was originally at.
Work on that one last week.
There's one closer to us.
Well, over here.
There you go. Oh, there you go.
All right, so that's the designated one.
All
We're not
right.
allowed to push on anything else, apparently. So, yeah, we should be good. You're not muted on there. Beautiful. Let me grab my charger and then we are good to go. And it only took us 3 minutes.
You guys both. What is it?
Oh, you're not leaving now.
Oh.
I know, right?
All right.
I'm gonna contribute some big ones. I'm gonna put some $10 dues in here.
Oh,
Mhm. We need some of the big ones.
Like, she comes up on me, like,
So you're good, and if you wanna see your Zoom people, then just click on that and do.
you know, whatever.
all right.
And so I'm like, all right, well, today's a good haircut day. She's not being a little bee. She turned out to be a little bee. Yeah. I gotta go. I'm not very good, man. We did a purple to that for Sydney.
Okay.
Sign up for that, you want? Yeah, I need to vote for this. Why not? It's free lunch.
So our half hour will end at about 12:10 or sooner. Does everybody know about this new, it's a 1-page and it's the important information for a homeowner. And you can get this in at the Washington State Realtor site. You can also get it in Northwest MLS, any of the download material. And this you can start using immediately. And it just talks about, it's a talking piece that you can give to your buyer. And you can, and it just sets the stage for you about what's happening January 1st. So we're going to go all through November. I believe next week we have a lot of forms to go through that have had changes on them. This particular week, it was the change in the purchase and sale agreement. And they're all very similar, but I did want to go over it so that we could see where the difference is. And this particular document that they're providing, Northwest MLS, it's like the new agency law pamphlet. That's only 4 pages and it is really good. That is the best thing that's happening in January. Okay, so now I want to go over and take a look at Form 21. And as this comes up, okay, let me just reduce that down so as we go through here, then on this particular one, all the changes are in blue. I've always done the red, so I thought this time I would just do the blue. And if you notice that other than the date up here and the revision date, if you look at the body of it, the very first part of it, it's where with the agency disclosure, we start with the limited. And they're really looking for the forms to be signed where both the buyer and the seller agree that it's okay for you to be a limited dual agent. And do you know why they added the word limited? If you're a dual agent.
You're limiting what you're allowed to do.
Yes, you are literally limiting what you're allowed to do. And so you owe fiduciary responsibilities to both sides, and you cannot do anything that favors one side over the other. So it's a real delicate
place to be in. If we go further through this document, the next one is on page 4. Here we are. And it's down to letter K. And this brings in, do you remember that if we are involved like in an unlisted sale and one of the parties is unrepresented, as a broker, it is our duty to be able to explain to them what the agency law means and what it means to be unrepresented. And so even if there's not another broker on that other side, we need to give them the new pamphlet. We need to have them sign it and understand it. Well, no, we can't make them understand it, but anyway, so here, notice of and delivery of documents. It talks about the transmitting it. We do it primarily through email. And then here they have added, if a party is unrepresented, the email is sent directly to the party's email address specified on page 1 of this agreement. This, you know, that brings me up to a point, and I want to go back up there to that information. There are brokers who do not like to include this information, and that after mutual, they will supply this information about their address, city, their email on either side. And they just say they don't want that to be on a purchase and sale agreement and go out to who knows, sees, you know, who sees that. This last week with Vanessa's help over the Thursday, Friday, we had a deal that was to close today and they couldn't get a clear title. And the broker is on vacation. And the other broker on the other, the buyer's broker on the other side, it was wonderful to work with. I've known Lane forever. He was one of my first brokers that I did a deal with in Wenatchee. But there was no information on this that was filed in command. And it took me quite a bit to find the buyer's or the seller's information to be able to call and to be able to work on this in the absence of this broker. Due to the extraordinary actions on Vanessa's part, she called up and I think that, what was the phrase you used? It's done, or it's accomplished, or something. I wrote it on my my tablet that I keep a record on it. But we did have to extend the closing date, and we did have to include a renter's a rental agreement so that the buyers could move in. They were on their way here and they had no place to go. And so that was a really stressful weekend for those buyers and sellers. You had a question, Isaac?
Yeah, I was wondering, so rather than put it on the document where the other party can see it and everybody involved has all that information, we have in command where you enter in your client's information. What if we just require that you put their email and phone number in? So right now it's not a requirement in command.
It is not, and it would have been very helpful this last week.
Might be a good way.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind doing it, I just see it's not a requirement, so I never do.
Yeah.
So.
And that's okay, except for this happens, and it took me finally. I don't know. Oh, the buyer that was moving in went to high school with the seller's, one of their daughters, and that's how we got the seller's name and number. So I mean, and it was through the buyer's broker. But anyways, if a party, this just goes back to that information. If a party is unrepresented, it's really important that you include that email address in there. and their phone number, because if they choose to do that without being represented. And then we send it, that's our requirement, like if we send it to another broker, instead we send it to that person directly. And of course, there's no office to be copied on that other than our office.
Can I make a comment about the contact information for buyers and sellers on the purchase and sale? From my background in escrow, I will tell you that that's where we look to get the information to contact the buyers and sellers and to send out the preliminary disclosures and preliminary title commitment. So if you're not going to complete that, if you would send, when you send the purchase and sale to escrow for a setup, that's when you should at least give that block of information in your email. Because it can delay things, and when things get hectic in the market, or they're short-staffed or they're busy, it'll go to the wayside. Oh, we don't have this information, so we're not sending this out yet. So, I mean, it just is better for everyone involved to expedite information getting passed around, that there is a way to contact the client.
Yeah.
And I have had, everything has to come through me, an agent that said everything has to come through me, and that's fine. I mean, I don't think escrow cares, but they do have to know who they're sending everything to.
Well, you see, that's a point there. Your escrow officer is a vital part of your client's team. And there's nobody so important that everything has to, I mean, they all need to work together. They all need to copy each other so they know what's happening on that. But also what had happened was, by delaying, the buyers had a lock on their rate until, I believe, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oh my gosh, we put in a extension of time until next Tuesday. So then they freaked out all over again. And but once the problem was solved, that's what you called up and you said, we took care of that. They're going to insure around it, and there's a couple of things the seller has to do.
Well, the caveat is we didn't know about the loan expiration date.
Yeah.
The lock expiration date.
Yeah.
We solved the problem on our agent side.
For the seller. Yeah.
For the seller, yeah.
Yeah.
That problem was solved.
Yeah. So you can see that on this, there aren't that many changes. Then on page 5, then there's all this information about the agency disclosure, and you can see where they've okay, so buyer brokerage firm's designated broker, buyer broker's branch manager, if any, and buyer broker's managing broker, if any, represent the same party that the buyer broker represents. Listing broker firm, blah, blah, blah. It's all the same thing. And they just took out all this other thing. And now it is just very clear. Your assigned broker, that's the listing or the buyer's broker, if you have those two agreements, your designated broker and any managing brokers or branch managing brokers, they are all, then it just clearly states it, what the line of responsibility agency is. All parties acknowledge receipt of the pamphlet entitled Real Estate Brokerage in Washington. And I had this on another one, that's that 4-page one, and we will go over that again. Then on letter U, brokerage firm compensation, the compensation offered to the buyer broker firm, if any, is set forth in specific term number 17. And that's on your page number 1 of the purchase and sale agreement. And I have a question that's related to that. I will see where it will say a percentage, and then it will give the percentage amount, but it won't have the box pay as offered. And when Annie went through that, she was saying that when you're writing up, you need to have the care of an attorney and you need to have it filled out accurately. It hasn't been challenged in court, but she was saying that is a legal argument. If they don't fill that out, does that mean the buyer brokerage firm does not get paid? So that's really important. And to share, and then they added and to the sharing of compensation between firms. The seller and a buyer hereby consent to the listing broker firm or buyer's broker firm receiving compensation from more than one party and to the sharing of compensation between firms. So those are just some things that they added in that. And then let's see, there's one more. No, oh yes. And then the fair housing. They added religion with children status and familial status to that. So our purchase and sale agreements are not going to change all that much, but we do need to understand that they are incorporating the new changes for this agency law. And when you look back here, your buyer brokerage firm compensation, it's, if you know what it is, it's either money, it's a dollar sign or the percentage, and then the amount, either the dollar amount or the percentage amount, and then pay is offered. That typically is going to be it if it's included in the listing. Okay. Any questions on that? I think that's pretty straightforward. Any questions out in Zoom land? And your 23, your 25, your 28, they all have the same things. Okay, so we have a question. Oh. All right. Our next president. Boy, wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so let's get to some questions here. I'm seeing a lot of contingent sales. And you do know that at the date of the last day where they can send a bump notice, we know that the buyer has to do what before that time? What does the buyer have to do?
Find a buyer for their property. Like, have a say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's otherwise the contract terminates. What else do we have to do? Wait, if we do not, on a contingent sale, if we don't give notice that that contingency is waived, then what can the seller do?
Cancel the contract, correct? No, I don't know. Oh God, I'm guessing.
Okay, so what happens on a contingent sale until it goes to pending, because that contingency is satisfied, then they can get other offers, can't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so you can get other backup offers. So if your buyer is a contingent sale, you need to watch those dates very carefully so that you don't inadvertently, if they go beyond that, they can give a notice of a bump notice, or of course they can do that at any time. Or if the buyer needs to give notice, is the contingency satisfied or not? And so it's the final day of the buyer's home sale contingency bump period, and the listing agent did not receive the contingency satisfied email from the buyer's agent. At 9:15, the listing agent received the following text. Now, we've all done this to some extent, maybe not quite as bad as this, but I sent you the PSA and docs a little before 8. I just noticed it's 9:16. I just noticed they're in my outbox. At 9:16, the listing agent and firm received a Form 46 releasing the contingency and a copy of a contract. The seller wants to move forward with a second offer. Can the seller do so since the documents were not delivered? Based on the PSA between the seller and the first buyer failed to timely satisfy or waive the home sale contingency. Can you imagine telling your buyer? That's one of those, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm, it's like when you find out your listing has expired, you didn't even check your, your status line there. Not that I've done that more than once. The plain language of the contract, Form 22B, lines 43 and 44 say that the purchase agreement terminates. The seller shall be able to move forward with a second buyer. So it's really important that we give that notice. So here's a caveat to the whole thing. What the broker and the hotline lawyer cannot anticipate is how the first buyer will react. Could the first buyer assert an ongoing right to purchase the property? Yes. Buyer's claim would not seem to be founded contractually, but buyer could still make the seller's ongoing sale difficult. Consequently, broker should not advise the seller as to how to proceed, but what? Seek legal counsel. Yeah. Okay, this is my favorite form, Form 17. I think I have something every week on this because it's always doing something. And remember, we advise as a company that you not include your Form 17 in the contract. If you must, and your buyer is saying, look, I'm not going to terminate this because, and they sign that second line, one, they received it, and second, that they're not going to terminate because of the Form 17. We always stipulate, ask in your contract, that's Form 22D, page 2, item 12, seller shall deliver Form 17, seller's disclosure within 5 days of mutual. And the reason we do that is to give your buyers more protection. So, what constitutes receipt? Does uploading into the MLS count? What about if they receive the SDS before going mutual? Is there a limit to the length of time, and does it have to have a signature to count as receipt or no? Okay, so there's a whole bunch of questions in there. So the listing broker then must prove that they delivered it. Now, if you just put it up in the associated docs, how do you prove that they downloaded it? You can't. And so you need to, as a listing broker, make sure you check with your listing, the sellers, and say, has anything changed? Look over this. I'm going to deliver it if there are no changes. So then if the Form 17 is attached to the MLS printout and the listing broker can prove the buyer received it, for example, but buyer returned a copy of it signed by the buyer, like that page 6, then the listing broker need not make additional delivery. So they don't have to fulfill a Washington state law requirement that it be delivered by email, by person, by mail, whatever it is. However, the listing broker, if the listing broker has no proof that the buyer or buyer's broker accessed the Form 17, then the listing broker must make delivery of the form. For example, listing broker could email the form to the buyer broker and the buyer broker's firm and hopefully receive an email and reply proving that the buyer broker received the listing broker's email attaching the Form 17. And that's why it is important that you get the answer back. Did you get that? Did you receive it? Or that you say received. Thank you. That just confirms that there's been a complete transaction on it. So long as the listing broker made provable delivery of the Form 17, that's where they signed it at the time of the purchase and sale agreement, the buyer's right to rescind the transaction expires 3 days after that delivery. So if they get it, they still have that 3 days unless they sign that line that says we will not cancel or terminate the contract because of the Form 17. It is irrelevant whether the buyer ever signs the form or not, so long as the listing broker can make, this doesn't make sense, but make proof that the form was delivered. So once again, it is our advice not to include it in a purchase and sale agreement because it is not a part of the contract. If you really gotta send it back, send it as a separate document with your FERPTA and your 22J is a part of the contract. 22K is a part of the contract. Okay. Now this everything about contracts is so important because I learn something new all the time. I thought this was a great question. I recently canceled a listing using a Form 19, which is what the majority of our brokers in our office do. Although the agreement expires December 31st, is there anything else that needs to be signed? So the answer to this was Form 19 serves only to change the status of the listing in the MLS system, even though it says cancel it on there. If the broker and seller intended to terminate the actual listing agreement, then Form 52, conditional release of listing, is the correct form to use. Brokers should confirm with the broker's designated broker before signing the Form 52 with the seller. And Russ always goes with, if they're not happy and they're not satisfied, that we don't want to make it worse. But I did not know that. I always thought you could do that. Form 19 is another one of my forms because the area doesn't autofill. So you get that lovely little email from me frequently. I had a question about something I saw in a listing after watching the video, the doorbell camera video. So the broker remarks, the agent says, audio and video camera in progress. Is this something that inadvertently puts liability on the seller? Are there exceptions if a party consents or if it's advertised? I feel like the agent is trying to be transparent and upfront. I just wonder if it comes with liability. So what is the law on video?
Video is okay as long as it's not in private spaces.
If there's no audio, then you can do that. But if there is audio, then you have to have consent. I've not heard about the private spaces. I just know that a lot of people don't.
Well, you just need to, you need to disclose it like they're doing here. But audio, there, you actually need consent.
You need a written consent.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Which is and how do you know if it's recording audio or not, right? Most of those ring cameras and stuff and the indoor cameras are doing.
That's right. And so when I would take brokers on tours, I would just say, just please remember that all of our conversation has the potential to be listened to. Yeah, even if it, and so hold all of your questions or comments instead of, oh, I love this house, this is so great. Oh, we're gonna underbid it by 50 grand. Yeah, that's gonna be a real surprise. Okay, so, in the broker remarks, you just have to be careful what you put in there. The language in the listing printout is irrelevant to the legal question, including the language in the listing printout does not increase the seller's liability. If seller is violating Washington law, then seller is violating Washington law, and listing broker highlighting the fact does not make the seller's actions any worse. I like that phrase. The text included in the listing also does nothing to alleviate liability. This notification in the listing printout does not equate a consent to be recorded by any person who then enters the seller's home. So that's just something to kind of think about, because a lot of times you might not know that the camera's on. And so you just want to be aware with your buyers on
Can
that.
I say one more thing? Just
Yes.
I did pest control for many years, and I can tell you there's a lot more cameras than you know about. You're always on camera. I found them in alarm clocks. I have found them in, like, fire alarms, everything. Cameras are everywhere. People are sneaky about nanny cams. And I found them because I was inspecting the whole house, right? So just always, don't take that nap on the couch, or don't do that thing you're not supposed to do when you're at a house.
Or my favorite is come back for the house was vacant, but come back for a big Seahawks game and invite your friends.
Somewhere in Seattle, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's this beautiful home and it was vacant, and so he just brought a bunch of his friends over. Oh my gosh. He wanted to know that new cellmate.
What about that? Is somebody seen that broker that wanted to sell that house that broke into that house in Chelan? Yeah. Talking about it.
What did I tell you about?
There was a real estate agent that was trying to sell a house or something. And like broke into the house, was selling it to somebody else.
Oh, Tom's and my first experience, we went to the wrong house and we were trying to find the lockbox, and the owners come up and Tom goes, I don't think this is the right address. And so our buyers, we said, we have the wrong address. Let's leave this way. And the owners of the property came this way and we walked right out that way. I did go back and apologize. And I told him, I said, I am a newbie and I apologize. Were you ever thinking of, selling your house? Don't let opportunity go by.
So this will never forget you.
Well, probably not. And it was so funny because I have big feet. I'm a big woman. And I noticed how tiny the flip-flops were. And I said, oh, little people live here. They were just little tiny, like, All right. But we did not get into arrested for that. Okay. And one of the things Russ always taught us when we were brand new, you're not really a real estate broker unless you can break into a house. That's always good. Okay. So this is 3 pages long, and this guy is writing a book. And it is about how do we protect a seller? How do we protect them about the buyer's down payment? And it's not contingent. About the buyer's employment, about credit verification.
Are you a lender? Hey, dude.
No contingency or no other transactions. Debt to income ratios, buyer's identity. Is it for real? Credit application, simultaneous closings. No reliance on contributions, insurance contingency, confirmation of funds, verification of employment during closing, outstanding debts, and relocation plans. What this broker wanted to do was to have a form like that the buyer fills out. And it's like, are you serious? Anyways, the answer. The broker should discuss this question with the broker's managing broker. The hotline lawyer cannot advise the broker as to the addenda that the broker uses in any given transaction, or generally in all transactions. The hotline lawyer Also cannot assist a broker in drafting any transaction documents. Okay, so we got that clear. So is it worth identifying? However, the statewide forms address many of these issues. For an example, we were just looking at Form 21, paragraph A. What happens if a buyer misrepresents the amount of cash that they have for the down payment or for closing costs? Because what are they saying when they fill that contract out? They're saying, I have the money to close. And A, if they are not honest, that's fraud. So 22A does a really good job on that. The next protection that we have is 22EF for evidence of funds. This one right here, I hardly ever use that option B. In the financing one, you know, there's option A and B. And most of your people that are getting traditional financing, they really need to go with the A. B is more like a person that has, maybe the house was, we just had one not very long ago. House was about 600,000. They were paying 200,000 down. So we did option B because if the appraisal didn't come in close to the, to the purchase price, they wanted to be able to get out of it. As it so happened, 2/3 of the house had no foundation. So that kind of worked out. Yeah. Imagine going back to your sellers and saying, well, why did they cancel? Well, they had inspection. No foundation.
Look at that 17 again and see what's
Yeah.
check mark there.
And so then we had to go back and make sure that they had changed that. So that financing one, then the financing contingency will automatically expire when the identification number of days has passed. So we need to be real careful about that and make sure that we understand when we're at the level of an attorney, when we're picking out the forms and we're checking the boxes. So additionally, many of the loan approval elements would be covered by a seller requiring the buyer to gain underwriting approval prior to entering the process. Isn't that the perfect buyer? They come to you and I've already been not pre-approved, but I've gone through the underwriting approval and we just need to find a house. Oh my gosh, those are great.
Those are type A people right there.
Yeah, they've got everything all ready to go. So your lender is like the comment that you made over here, your lender is going to really cover a lot of those things in that great big long list. And that's why I really like to see it when our brokers say the lender is Michael Maher, and this is his contact number, and he knows that you might contact them about this particular one, and attached is his pre-approval letter. We have to be careful on that because there's the breathing, you're alive. We checked and you do have a job and you do make this amount of money, but we haven't gone into your credit report. We haven't done the underwriting part of it. So there are two types of approval letters. So you just need to be aware of that. So I did that one mostly for fun because I just thought that was hysterical. Geez, are you paranoid or what? Hope you don't have a daughter that's a teenager. Oh, I had 4 older brothers, so I never dated. And that is the honest to God's truth. One kid asked me, and then he came back the next day and he said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that Phil Bailey was your brother. Oh, you're not dating him. You're dating me, no? So line 17, this is the one that I alluded to at the beginning. I have a question regarding line 17 on the purchase and sale agreement. If nothing is filled in for the amount or percentage, but pay as offered is still checked, would an agent still be entitled to the MLS listed commission if both boxes were left unblank? but the pay as offered box was correctly checked. Does there have to be a number or percentage inserted to have the commission paid? Answer is yes. Does there have to be a number or percentage inserted for the commission to be paid? The answer is yes. Seller and buyer shall pay compensation in accordance with any listing or compensation agreement to which they are a party. The buyer brokerage firm's compensation offered in the listing shall be paid by the seller as set forth in this agreement or any addendum hereto. If there is any inconsistency between the buyer brokerage firm compensation offered in the listing and the description of the offered compensation stated in term number 17, the terms of the listing shall supersede and control. So this is a whole lot of nothing right here, because first it says, yes, you have to fully fill it out. And now it says that the listing agreement, controls. Bottom line is the seller is obligated to pay compensation to the buyer brokerage as set forth in this agreement. So let's not have any questions. I still get percentage, the amount, and then pay as offered is not checked. I still get those. We have until the first of the year to really get those down. One of the things that you can do is in your template for your purchase and sale agreement, just click the pay as offered. And then when you get there, that will remind you, okay, in the listing, did it say that they would do it? And so you can have that there. The broker is held to a standard of care of a lawyer in completing the purchase and sale agreement. So please be really careful about that. You know what I'm starting to also see? I saw my third one this week, and it was our brokers. There was no legal, no exhibit A that was attached. And it got as far as mutual. So my first one, when I reviewed it, I said, get your buyers to sign the legal, send it to the listing broker and have them included in it. And it went all the way to mutual and there was no legal description. That is what legally binds that contract together. So it's very, very important.
That was probably me, and there's no legal for that one.
There was no legal.
It's on leased land.
Oh, no, in that situation, no.
Yeah.
You don't have to have one, but I'm seeing on if it's a 21 and 25 or 28, you know, where there is title involved. Yeah. No, on a 23, there's no legal, and I do love it in command when you have when it says legal description, you have that blank piece of paper. It says manufactured home on leased land, no title. Or they'll do a county assessors and they'll have them initial it. And that signifies that they understand there's
I
no
used to
title.
Form 21 because it's not a manufactured home. Is there a document or is there a form out there, a purchase and sale agreement that you can fill out for a home that's not a manufactured home? This one's through UV Med, right? So they have a 99-year lease. But it's not a manufactured home. It's a stick-built home.
On leased land.
It's through a special program.
You know, that is a wonderful question. And all of our ones that are done like at Wapato Point, that's all leased land. And you need to make sure that in there that you identify that there's not going to be a title. That you identify like in your 22D or Form 34. You want to identify that they're purchasing the home, but it is on leased land.
Because 23 is not a fit, neither is
No.
21,
No.
right?
No.
So it's like 21 seemed closest to me,
Yeah.
right? So I filled that out, but yeah, I was wondering about that because it's probably confusing for you on your end.
If I only see a document and I don't
Yeah.
know the whole story, yeah.
Oh, exactly.
So I have gotten some love letters that were really interesting because And I see so many, it's not that I don't care, but I really. Anyways, so this is an area that I really check on all purchase and sale agreements. And if you check other, then there should be, what other form should be there? If you check other and you don't check because there's no agreement with the seller. What other form would be in the other box?
41C.
Yep. Oh my gosh, I went over by 10 minutes.
There's a blog.
Okay, so. Oh, Jeff. And Skip, thanks for joining us. Alrighty, we are done. Any other questions? Going over these questions that come up in the hotline or examples, is that helpful?
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So what happens if like somebody puts in that, like in the broker's remarks, they put in like 1% will go to buyer broker's firm if like the buyer broker doesn't show up to all of the showings, like showings.
Showings or inspector
Mhm.
or somebody like that.
Yeah.
That is such that comes from such a place of scarcity. Russ has always been, we used to advertise this, we haven't done it in a while, but we used to, when it was just Frontline, we used to advertise that if you're a broker on the west side and you have a buyer that's interested, we'll show them, we'll help out with inspections and all of that. It would be your buyer, your commission. Because we thought, well, let's,
Relationships.
yeah,
Is
let's,
this a big problem over here? Cause I never seen it on the west side. Yeah, if you don't come to your own appointments or whatever, then you're getting 1%. Like I'd never seen that till I got here.
yeah, I don't know. To me, that's just scarcity. And what can I do? I get calls from brokers all the time. Lois called me about 2 weeks ago and she was having a closing and they couldn't unlock the box. And it happened to be in Chelan. I said, let me run over. And by the time I got there, the other broker figured it out and they went through and they did their walkthrough and all that kind of stuff. But that's what our company is all about. If you need help, if you're going to be gone. Speaking of which, if you are going to be gone, it's really important that you get another broker that can step in for you. If you're out of country or out of cell phone, or if you're hunting or something and you're going to be on top of the mountain.
I'm always willing to do that, by the way, and I hope others are willing to do it as well.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
But don't just say, oh, just call the office. Cause that doesn't give us a heads up.
Well, and not only that, it needs to be, if they're going to step in for you, you need to have a Form 18 where you're assigning another sub-agent. 18. Mhm. And that's in one of those things that you can do. But that's what I love about our company is that like Vanessa just went above and beyond and to basically tell somebody in charge of the title, you're wrong.
Yeah.
There's a way around this, but it had to come from somebody. It didn't come from me because I don't know that they're wrong. I don't know that end of it, mainly because the majority of our deals were all done Vanessa. So
They weren't wrong, it's just that, they may not have had the information, may not have had the experience that have gone through that situation before.
They didn't see the red flags or the.
yeah. All right.
Back to what Estella was saying, like if an agent on the west side or somewhere else contacted you, and needed help with like the groundwork. I mean, couldn't you also just say, like, oh, I can give you a few agent recommendations for, maybe you can hire a showing assistant for your client for the whole transaction then. And then find a KW agent that's in our office, help with showings for them. Then we're just helping everybody out.
Yeah.
So it also, and I see you do it all the time, is just have a referral with them and say, I'm happy to do this.
Yeah.
I'm not greedy.
Yeah.
50% isn't too, no. All right, you guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marcia.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job on the deal.
Make them. Every day?
Oh dear, that is a scary sight.
No,